Hello everyone, my name is Michaela Thorson and I am from the Howard Lake Waverly Winsted FFA chapter and I'm interviewing Caidyn Johnson today and I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to start off with some questions about what his hobbies and interests are and then get deeper into the interview. Hope you enjoy!
Caidyn, so can you tell me a little bit about your hobbies, some quote unquote interests or things you like to do in your spare time when you're not working on school or other things?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Caidyn Johnson. I'm currently a sophomore at Fertile Beltrami High School in Fertile, Minnesota, and I am a very active member of the Minnesota FFA Association. So that is one of my biggest passions. That's one of my biggest pastimes. Within the FFA, I do a lot of leadership development events, including like parliamentary procedure and then extemporaneous speaking. And then I also did Creed. And then I also do career development events like egg sales. So I'm rather active in that. I was serving as the Region 1 Sentinel for the 2019-2021 term, and now I was just reelected as the Region 1 reporter for 2020-2021. So I'm very excited for that. And when I'm not active in the FFA, you can usually find me either watching Broadway or participating in musical theater of any sort. Last year I got to go to a camp in Missoula, Montana, and I got to meet with a bunch of theater kids from all over the country and just come together to have a really fun performance. So theater and musical theater in general are also one of my passions. So if I'm not in FFA, chances are I'm either watching Broadway or attempting to be on Broadway. So that's a little bit about myself.
That's awesome. So does your school have plays or I guess quote unquote a theater program that you are active in?
Yes, our school does have a theater program. We don't do any musicals, unfortunately. It's a little sad. None of the kids really are interested in that, but we do smaller performances such as Lucky Hudson and the 12th Street Gang. That was one of them. And then we also did another one called Wagon Wheels Are Rolling. So they're just smaller plays, but they're really fun to do.
Awesome. So you talked about a few of your CDs and LDs within FFA. Can you tell me a little bit about those CDs and LDs and what they pertain? So what is required of you to participate in some of them? You don't have to name them all, but maybe just a few.
Yes. So for most of the CDEs and the LDEs, one of the most important things that you will need is confidence for them. So last year, I was a little bit nervous to do extemporaneous speaking because essentially what it is you are given a topic with an egg and then you have around, I think it's 20 minutes to prepare and research on it, and then you have to present a 6 to 7 minute speech on it that day. So it's all in a matter of about half an hour. So that was really stressful, but it's a really good learning opportunity. And then you also just have to be willing to try new things. In the FFA in general, a saying we have is generally FFA makes you comfortable being uncomfortable. So you just really have to kind of push yourself and prepare to maybe not do as well as you would hope, but also at the end of the day, learn from it. So it's a lot of ups and downs, and I enjoy it.
That's awesome. So obviously with extemporaneous speaking, that would teach you to think on your feet and speak to others. So I'm sure that's great for our digital media team, because as you go out and interview and do video broadcasting, etc., you get to speak with others and you kind of already know how to speak on your feet. So you don't have the problem of kind of questioning what you should really ask. So how did you find out about the digital media team? Obviously you're an FFA, and FFA and 4-H have promoted it overall, but within FFA, who was the first one to tell you about this opportunity?
I actually found out about the digital media team while I was at Apex during FFA Day at the Capitol. We had a little morning session, and then like as soon as I finished that session, I looked at my phone. I had gotten an email from my advisor saying, hey, this is an amazing opportunity. Like, I recommend you apply for it because I think you'd be really good for you. And so I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess. And so I spent a while after Apex kind of telling people within my chapter about it and around the region, saying, hey, this is a cool opportunity. I think you guys should go out for it. And then I realized, it is a cool opportunity. So I decided that I would fill out an application for it. And I filled it out, I think, 3 days before the deadline, and then got it in, and I got accepted. So that was very exciting for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the application, what were some of the questions that they asked? And, was it hard for you to answer those questions? Did it take a little bit of contemplation on your part, or was it something that you were able to kind of figure out pretty quickly?
Yes, a lot of the questions were more so like, what's your experience with this, or how much experience do you have with this? And so I was a little bit nervous at first because the first question they asked was, what is your experience showing livestock? And I didn't grow up on a farm. I'm one of those few FFA kids who is more of a city kid, but still has a passion for agriculture. And so I was like, I'm going to be honest, I don't have nearly any experience with it. I tried to train my rabbit once and it didn't go very well, so wasn't a fan of that after. But I definitely had experience watching a lot of my friends participate in it, and so I like to see them show their animals during the Polk County Fair and at the state fair. And the rest of them were like, what's your experience in photography? How much experience do you have in social media? So it was a lot of deep thinking back to, okay, which ones am I more drawn to and which ones do I really want to put a lot of passion into? And eventually, I think my top two was photography and social media, and I got social media. So I'm very excited for getting to just work with a lot of talented individuals in that sort, and also get to work on my own skills at the same time.
Yeah, so your quote unquote specialty within the digital media team is obviously social media. So obviously we haven't really went over what that part of the specialty is going, what's expected of you yet, but what are some things that you're hoping will be expected of you, and what are you looking most forward to?
I am very, very excited to do social media on a larger level. For the most part, my social media has been me in front of a camera, maybe posting a picture of my food for the day, or posting a picture of the friends that I was hanging out with. And I did that since like the 6th grade, and I've just been kind of posting. But I'm excited to move from being more social to sharing information and sharing, other people's success. I'm very excited to work with the High School Activities Hub. They're a very big part of this. And so I'll be able to kind of take what I've done with social media and then also apply it to, social media and how it can be used from a business perspective.
Awesome. So obviously you said you're really interested in social media. So what are you hoping to do for, I guess, a college career path? Do you have any idea as to maybe where you want to go to college and what you want to pursue?
I haven't put a ton of thought and effort into that. I'm currently in the process of trying to get into the PSEO program at UMC, to do that my junior and senior year so I can get my generals out of the way. And then from there, I'm hoping to either do a career in agricultural education or maybe elementary education. I know I definitely want to be a teacher of some sort. And then I'm also hoping to do something with theater as well, whether it's maybe teaching and putting on musicals at the school that I'm working at, or traveling the country to work with different theater groups, wherever life brings me.
Yes, that's awesome. So I've seen on your social media pages that you do a bit of gardening. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I haven't done much gardening in the past, but this year I was informed that, I was going to have to do an SAE, and I was like, okay, great, can't wait for that. And so I was like, what's a good SAE that I can do over the summer, but I don't have to spend every hour of every day doing? And that came out to be my garden. So I got to kind of take over my family's garden in our backyard and work on that. And then I also had the idea, we had a lot of like garbage and different junk laying around our yard in certain areas. So I decided to take some of that stuff and then actually put it in my garden and put it back to use. And so that kind of became my caidyn's second use produce. And I was able to recycle and help the garden grow while also keeping things that normally would have just gone to the garbage in service. So I really enjoy it. I have a lot of plants indoors now too, hoping to get some snake plants soon. But I'm loving it.
That's awesome. So obviously I had mentioned some CDs and LDs as well as Apex. Are there other quote unquote leadership development events or workshops that you've attended that prepared you to be a part of the digital media team?
Yes. So this past year, being a region officer, I got to attend quite a few conferences. As a chapter officer, our chapter sent all of our officers to the SLCCL, the State Leadership Conference for Chapter Leaders, and that was an amazing opportunity. We got to work with our very own Britton Fugel-Seth and the rest of the state officers, and they got to teach us a lot about what it's like to be a leader. And then I've also, as a region officer, had to present workshops and conferences, such as the Fall Rally or the Winter Regional Leadership Conference. And so those really just gave me an opportunity to meet with the members and then see what it's like. I wasn't the reporter last year, but definitely being on the digital media team this year is really going to help, because now I am serving a term as the reporter, so I have to do a lot more video editing, a lot more social media for the region level. So these two kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, of course. So you talked about region office and you being a reporter this year, which is awesome because, like you said, digital media team and region office go pretty hand in hand when you're a reporter. So what are some events that you're looking forward to that hopefully happen as far as digital media team? Obviously, state convention for FFA is online, but do you see any opportunity for the digital media team to maybe help the officers with state convention because we have this great opportunity and this great platform to work on?
Yes, definitely at state convention with the virtual convention that we're now having. I'm definitely hoping that the digital media team is going to be able to help get the word out about it, because the state officers and those working on this are taking such a long time to plan something entirely new that's pretty much never been done before until these circumstances this year. So I'm hoping the digital media team will be able to kind of help get the word out about that, and then also help people get excited about it. And then hopefully we have the state fair this year and we are able to spend a lot of time there. I know we're having some broadcasting events. We are going to be spending a lot of times in the livestock barn. So I'm hoping that what's going on right now isn't going to affect in the very far future, but who knows? We may just have to adapt and overcome.
Exactly. Although, we're struggling right now with the COVID-19 pandemic, we obviously have this great opportunity to really expand digital media, because that's such an important part of what we're doing right now, because we can't really meet in person. So obviously working through Zoom meetings and Google Hangouts, and also interviewing other members and really expanding our digital media platform so that we can really adapt to everyone everywhere. And so that's an awesome opportunity, and I think it gives you a great, the digital media team is kind of a great resource to have. So who are some quote-unquote leaders that you have looked to in the past who have really helped you and inspired you to be on the digital media team, to be a part of FFA, and just to overall just be an active member in your community and in agriculture?
Now, that one is definitely a very, very good question. I don't think my answer has changed since pretty much the 7th grade. But the one person that inspired me the most to basically join FFA in the first place was Britton Fugel-Seth, the state reporter. She was at our chapter, and I got to watch her go from singing at the Polk County Fair to singing on a stage in front of 43,000 other FFA members. and just being able to see her go from chapter reporter and doing things on the chapter level to seeing it go on to the state level was just amazing. And she's always been nothing but supportive for everything that we do in the FFA. And another person who really inspired me was my advisor, Mrs. Ruprecht. She has a habit of kind of pushing kids to do stuff and saying, okay, like you can back out if you want to, but like that's not really an option. So she has a habit of voluntelling us that we're gonna do something. That's how I got into ag sales and then also extemporaneous speaking. So she's very good at her job, and I'm very fortunate to have her as an advisor.
Yes, our educators are super awesome, and we're super thankful for all of them, and definitely miss them a little bit with having to do online school and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But what's a suggestion you give to somebody who is just kind of starting their career in FFA or even 4-H or any other leadership organization? What's one thing you would tell them if you can only really say a few words to them?
I would definitely tell them to just open up and be their self. When I joined the FFA, I wanted a place to sort of belong and to work on myself while also working with others, and the FFA and other leadership organizations is the perfect place to do that. So I want them to just go in with an open mind and be ready to do things that they never could picture themselves doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you talked about your FFA advisor pushing you to be on the digital media team. What would you tell somebody next year? Obviously, we haven't had a ton of experience thus far, but what's been one of your favorite things about the digital media team and having this experience?
Well, most of the time when I'm starting something new, there's a very slow introduction period, and then there's maybe 2 or 3 meetings before we kind of get to work. But what I liked about the digital media team this year was Lance. He's the one who is kind of the head of it right now. He immediately, the first day after it was announced that I was going to be on the social media aspect of things, he called me and he said, hey, do you want to do a few social media posts just to start introducing the team? And not even a day after I found out I was on the team, he was already putting us to work, and I felt that that was amazing. And it was just really cool to see how we can go from, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity that I'm going to get to have, to, hey, I'm already starting this opportunity. What do you know?
Yeah. So what are some challenges you faced so far, and how do you stay organized, and what do you do just to keep yourself, obviously there's anxiety with everything that's going on right now, but how do you calm that and make sure you stay organized and just take in every moment of it, because it is such a unique opportunity?
Well, with distance learning especially, and not being able to go to school and have a regular schedule, I find that trying to stick to somewhat of a normal schedule is really helping. So I have any video chats or any important meetings that I have those in my calendar as I usually would, and then I try to make sure that I'm getting things done on time. Sometimes it doesn't work because I do procrastinate occasionally every now and then, as everybody does. So things can get a little bit mixed up there, but with the digital media team, I know that it is a responsibility that I'll have, and so it's definitely higher up in my priorities, as well as things that I should be thinking about for the future.
Awesome. So to finish up here, somebody who's looking in the future after our term as the digital media team members ends, somebody who says, Caidyn, I kind of want to do this, but I'm a little bit nervous, and you said that it was a lot of responsibility, but also a lot of fun. What's something that you would tell them in this situation and say, you know what, I'm super excited that you want to do this, and then, say something else to them, ask them, or tell them, either this is what's going to be expected of you, and also what advice would you give to them?
Most definitely, if someone came up and said that they were interested in taking this opportunity, I would just say do it. It's an amazing way to put yourself out there and to gain valuable skills that are going to come around in the future. I know social media 5, 10 years ago wasn't super big, but now businesses who have social media are able to put the word out there, and they're getting a lot more popularity than those who are sort of sticking to their traditional ways. And I would definitely tell them, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid that you won't do good on this team, because at the end of the day, there are 12 other members who are going to support you and who are going to be able to help you through it if you are stressed.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So I'd like to thank you for meeting with me, and I'm super excited to work with you this year on the digital media team, and I know the other 11 members are as well. So again, thank you so much for taking this time for this interview, and I look forward to working with you in the future and talking to you again.
No problem. Thank you.